tap in.
I think, Sharon, are you online yet? I know she was logging in. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, welcome. Today is Monday, August 24th. It's approximately 12:45 in the afternoon. This is the weekly meeting work session of the Weber County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Gage Floor with us, and also Commissioner Jim Harvey. Commissioner Sharon Bolos should be joining us online. The first agenda item we will hit this morning is discussion action or approval of the minutes for the commission work session held on August 17th, 2026. I entertain a motion.
After reviewing those minutes, the only question I have is on the last paragraph as it relates to Westbridge. I want you to know that I've had some discussion. I think we'll get some follow-up today, but I think under most of those, Mr. Chair, we can go ahead and approve. We'll go ahead and approve these minutes.
Got it. So we got a motion to approve the August 17th, 2026 minutes. I'm going to place a motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're now motion carried. So now we'll go on to the 12:45 discussion regarding Westbridge, which may be something that's interest you. Charlie Ewert is not here. Rick Grover's not here. Sean Wilkinson's not here. Lynn Keel is not here, and Gary Myers is not here.
I think maybe we ought to
So maybe we ought to hold that.
there we go.
There we go. Now they're coming in.
Slowly but surely filtering in.
Well, not,
Is
there's
Chuck-
Rick.
Rick or Charlie, one of you guys, you're up to bat.
How are you? Wow, dude. How you doing?
Good.
Was Charlie coming?
Charlie's coming.
Hey, Christy, if Gloria comes in, tell her this is a public meeting, so welcome to come in. All right, welcome, gentlemen. We almost had to skip you on the agenda.
Oh, running late? Sorry about that.
Well, only by about 4 minutes, but you know Commissioner Harvey, if you're not right to the minute, then we got a problem.
It's called punctuality. It works when it works.
All right, so I'm not gonna go through that list again. We've already introduced you. So I'm gonna go, since Charlie's not here, I'm gonna go to Rick,
Thank you.
since he's next in line.
So Westbridge, their agreement is, at the end of August, it expires.
Right, we knew that.
We're looking at making some changes, to that area. And we first want to know if you're willing to entertain some of those things. We have made some changes to the agreement, we talked about last time. And we'd really like to just have it on your agenda, tomorrow. And we have it scheduled for your meeting, but we wanted to discuss it in a public work session.
Well, I think that is on our agenda tomorrow.
It is.
I think that was what Commissioner Harvey
Yes,
had a discussion last week regarding ownership.
right,
Is that correct?
it is.
Okay.
So we wanted to, you just get your take on it, see if you're willing to entertain that, and then if so, we'll go through some of the specifics.
About tomorrow's meeting or for the future?
Tomorrow's meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
So as far as those specifics go, nothing in the document that's on your agenda tomorrow is different than what it was before. I did check into what we discussed in our last work session about the potential future freeway right of way. If the freeway doesn't go there, I mentioned to you guys that I was pretty sure the document said that that land goes back to the developer. Goes back to the developer if the county wants it to go back to the developer. So basically the county gets to hang on to it if the county wants to hang on to it.
All right, so just so we're clear, we're not giving that right up if the event that we decide to put in a regional or county road, that
Or
easement
whatever.
stays in place, whatever.
Your option to keep that land stays in place. Yep,
Okay.
it does say
And
That's
that.
not a
defined
development
on-
decision, that's a county decision.
Correct.
Okay, I want to be clear on that.
Yep, it does say that if you choose to give it up, then it
Yeah.
goes back to the developer. If the developer doesn't exist, it goes to the landowner.
Okay.
So,
Got it?
other than that, everything else is pretty much the same, as what was on your agenda previously. Just adjusting the language of the document to say that, multiple landowners can be involved in it, but even though multiple landowners are involved, master developer has full control over development, over decisions about development, all of those things. So any owner who signs the development agreement, is subject to.
Understands it.
So remind me again who the master developer, is that changed or not?
No, Westbridge LLC is still listed in the document as master developer. Is that gonna change?
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, and we're clear that we bring in additional people into that party. Master developer is still on the hook for all requirements, so it's very clear, I'm gonna look for Chris Crockett, that in the event that, let's say we get into issues, that we can't have a master developer say, that's not our problem, go to so-and-so. I want it to go to one party that we substantiated is the person that solves the problems, if there are any. Hopefully there are none, but if it comes out,
Persons or problems?
well, problems, yeah. Yeah, problems to start with, but I want one person to solve the problem, not multiple people that we have to bring into a room. My experience, all that does is results in lawsuits and a lot of finger pointing, which I'm not gonna do.
So the person who Mr. Lin Keo just walked in,
There's him.
he worked on this agreement. It's my understanding that there is a provision in there, or the master developer remains responsible for every single requirement that is in the development agreement.
Yeah, that is true. So even if one of the landowners does default on the agreement, we take it up with the developer,
Okay,
not the landowner. So it does create a problem because yes, the developer could technically be in default because of something the landowner did. That's not our problem, that's his problem to work out. But it doesn't make it as simple as working just with the developer and he's owning all the land.
right. Well, I guess that's one of the situations I wanna deal with. If all of a sudden a property owner says, hey, we're out, I don't want the county involved.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, then it's all the county's fault because something goes on, right?
Yep.
So it says that if a property owner defaults, the master developer defaults. It also says the county retains the option to enforce on a property owner if we choose to, but we're not obligated to.
okay,
So it is very clear that the intention is that the master developer governs their own development.
That's a may, not a
May.
shall.
right,
Yep.
got it. Yeah, I like Mace. Well, sometimes I like shalls, but depending on what bill we're talking about.
Any other questions? on
Questions,
this?
Commissioner Harvey?
Pretty straightforward, hopefully.
No, that answered the questions that I have, just to be clear. So that well, I'll speak specifically. Providing UDOT or anybody makes a decision to relocate one of those six ways through
Oh,
the Western Weaver corridor, the Legacy Highway, whatever you call it. If they make a decision to run that thing further west or further east of where it's on some of the maps through that property, Weaver County would retain the ownership of that property.
Yep.
That 67 acres, 67.36 acres, I believe what it is what we calculated that to be.
Yeah, better memory than mine, but that sounds about right. And yes, the county would maintain control over that unless the county chose to give it back.
okay. All right. And that's basically this, what we just talked about is on this letter.
Yep, on that memo. And if you guys don't still have the document from 2 weeks ago, I'm happy to send that up.
I think you still have
I
it.
didn't kill a couple hundred pages just
Yeah.
for fun, but I can send it anyway if you would like it.
A lot of work's gone into this, Mr. Chair.
A lot, yeah.
And I think timing wise is good. I can support this with these changes. I think that'll be good. It answers the questions that I had in our commission meeting. This is it's a good deal for the developer. But it'll certainly set the stage for Weaver County, and it's nice to see these things coming to fruition. So this is on tomorrow's agenda, and I think we're okay there.
Okay.
So,
You're okay?
yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
For the K I'm in.
Yeah, for the shape you're in, yeah. The condition you're in. There's
Yeah.
a song like that, as I remember. That's before your time.
Maybe.
So anything else that we should look at before we approve this thing? Any red flags out there that I'm gonna not be happy with if all of a sudden they come up or crop up? So lay anything on me right now that we should be concerned with, or we'll do it in private at some time in the future before tomorrow.
I'm not aware of it.
I've got one more question if I may,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair.
Okay,
An effort, Cameron, maybe I'm gonna put this to you. I had asked a year ago for an effort to be made to work with private landowners for an additional 100 feet for upland game birds along the shore of the Great Salt Lake. Can you tell me what has been done there, if any, or what, any movement there at all?
We haven't finalized any, I mean, we are the landowners along the DWR property. So, but we haven't finalized any layouts along there. A big part of that is gonna be dependent on the wetlands. And so how our wetlands, what lays out is gonna determine how much of that property goes back to a buffer. But we did agree in the overall MDA agreement and the original approval to put in that masonry fence on a berm. So that it's a pretty significant barrier, even if the additional footage doesn't get deeded.
Okay,
So that was a concession we made, last year at this time when we got it approved. Just to try and make sure that there was a protection there, even if additional footage wasn't dedicated along there. It is expected that a significant portion of that buffer along the DWR is probably gonna be used for drainage and wetlands. But I just don't have the footage yet. Until we get our engineers really working on the layout and move forward there, it's not gonna be set in stone on what the exact footage is gonna be against that area.
we did talk about, those interested in creating another 100-foot buffer. Did they ever? Did anything come of that?
We did offer to sell them a buffer and they declined.
was that the state?
Yeah, that's correct. So that didn't really go anywhere. But they didn't say that that wasn't something that they weren't open to in the future. It was just something that they didn't have approval for in their budget now to be able to agree to any sort of purchase. But they told us to keep them apprised of how the engineering is moving forward and then they could take another swing at it if they needed to. But as of now, we've been unsuccessful in trying to sell them any additional ground there.
Okay, what about along the river, the buffer along the river? Where are we on that, Charlie?
The agreement says the same thing that it does in the Black Pine or the Bennett project. It says that if they build anywhere within the 300-foot buffer, they've got to provide the science that shows that they're not within primary riparian corridor, floodplain, wetlands area in general. So they could go as close as 100 feet if the science supports it.
Okay, and I, just so you know, Mr. Chair, I have had conversations with some of the landowners out there. And that, by the way, is some of the best farm ground along that river. I mean, it's not salt grass, but so there seemed to be, as I was thinking as they were talking, not every tractor, where's Andrew? Where did he go?
He's over there.
Not every tractor needs to pull a 22-foot swather behind it or whatever. They still make those little Kubotas and you could farm a little 8-foot path or even a 50-foot by 100-foot and still do okay with that. So I just wanted you to hear that as the chair of the planning commission, that some of the guys out there that I've talked to says, yeah, we could farm still a smaller patch out there, around the river and things like that, should there be any type of agriculture or farm smart type developments along the river would work out a meandering path, but it could be smaller out there. And that makes sense to me because I know that the bigger the equipment, the more efficient it can be, but not all tractors are huge.
No, I've seen small ones too.
Yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Nope, that's it.
Developers, do you have any questions, comments? Now's your opportunity.
No, I think the changes for us, more than anything, it'll allow more properties to come in and sign the MDA and be bound by that agreement as well up front. Because one of the challenges that we've had is it's such a big area and it'll
Yeah.
take so long to develop that it's hard for the people to commit now to
Yeah.
get dedicating their ground to an entity that'll be solely development. So this does allow the neighboring owners to participate in the MDA while still allowing them to keep title to their ground and, using it for what they intend to use it in the 10 to 15 years it'll take to get development closer to their properties.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Good.
yeah, we're good. Sure. Commissioner Bolos, any questions, comments? Sharon, your mic's off. Okay, don't see. So Andrew, any questions, comments, things that we haven't brought up from planning commission?
No, I don't think so. Just one concern. Along that corridor, what I don't want to see happen, and this is kind of to address what Commissioner Harvey mentioned. Yes, there's smaller equipment and yes, smaller work can be done there, but is it worth anybody's time? And what I don't want to see happen is all of that turn into weeds.
Agreed.
And that's a huge concern.
Which we've seen happen in some of our areas that we've zoned for cluster subdivision,
Too many.
as you understand very clearly.
Well, I think some of that, I agree with that 100%. It can't be weeds. Because we know that the ripest place for weeds to germinate and pass are along bodies of water. I mean, I absolutely bought into that. So I think there'll have to be some stuff moving forward, but I also think that not all parks have to be soccer fields or pickleball courts either. A park could be a place where they happen to grow cucumbers, or a park could be a place where they happen to grow,
Corn.
well, corn, but I was also thinking it could be, goats or some kind of protein. A park could be a place where they, as I just have kind of thought about this, there's a little place on the backside. I don't know if you've been up to Paradise before.
I have actually.
On the backside of these mountains up here where they gate off the old, what's the name of that, trout farm up there? I call it a trout farm.
The White's Ranch.
White's Ranch.
They
Where they have
pheasants there
those
too.
old, they
Yeah.
have those old.
Yeah.
And they have those gates and those fish, you can't even put your hand under those trout. They're that big. And it's the most delicious lunch you can have in the state of Utah, up at White's Ranch. But they gate both sides. Wouldn't it be nice to have a fishing park at one end of the development and on the other? So a park doesn't have to be swing sets or splash pads, is what I'm saying. I'm trying to, I'm hoping that people will think a little bit out of the box and we can preserve our Western heritage by having other type of park opportunities, in there, and maybe the developer would put a hand riser so we can get some water and carry the water, just something that would be really, really cool. I don't know where else where you find it along here, but something like that. You're exactly right, though, Mr. Chair. I'll second, actually agree to that. I don't want there to be any weeds, especially along the river.
Yeah, our weed board has enough to do, so.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And so basically, this goes back to the ordinance we passed regarding that 300 feet. They do the study, they come back to the recommendation, so we're not changing that. We've already got that. So, yeah, I've got full faith that that'll come back, and the planning commission will do a great job in interpreting what that is and make good decisions. I trust you. Okay, anything else? Commissioner Bowles, are you back online or? Okay, I guess not. Anything else? Charlie, Rick, anybody? Chris, Ash? Sean?
No.
Tucker, anybody? Okay,
Good.
I guess we're good to go, gentlemen.
Okay.
So this will hit tomorrow,
Yes. What time is it? 10?
10 o'clock.
And
Okay, we'll see there. I will, just Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
I will add that the engineering, the way that the document, the master development agreement is worded with that buffer along the river. The way it's worded and the way that the engineering will have to support any improvement plans there. We envisioned a lot of flexibility. And so if there is a bigger wetland area that needs to be set aside there, it'll allow us to create something cool. And we've done some wetlands parks like that in other developments where we've
There you go.
added some fishing ponds and stuff. We just did one in Salem where we did a 3.5 acre fishing pond that was tied to a jurisdictional wetland. And the city let us integrate it into a park and improve it as a wetland park that you can go and fish, and it's turned out really cool. And if you look at like the Steed Park in Clinton, if you've ever been by there.
I have.
That one is a good example of how you could do a park next to the wetlands and add some flexibility and creativity in the way that you do these buffer areas, so.
Well, and I think you're gonna have plenty of information on wetlands as UDOT starts their process
Yeah.
with the study for North Legacy.
Yep, and we're doing our own, so.
And so you're gonna, I think between the two, you'll have an opportunity to address them. And anytime if you can put those wetlands to use, I mean, you guys
We
are,
love doing it, yep,
you might as well do that, because if not, you're just fighting against a
yeah.
movable object.
We love taking those lemons and making lemonade with them.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, I've got faith in these guys, Commissioner Harvey.
Okay,
I've had good reports on them.
okay.
Okay, anything else? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us today.
Commissioners, good to see you.
Mike, good to see you.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you later, Cal.
All right.
Good luck.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
There we go. Sharon, I'm not hearing you.
Co-founded organization.
Okay, I think I'm back now.
We just let them out of the room. I hope you didn't have any heartburning questions on that development agreement, but.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, and I was told by Christy when we go into admin that we'll just keep the same link and we'll be good to go with admin.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, Chief.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Living the dream.
You're looking pretty sharp today, if I dare say. Yeah. Pretty official. All right, welcome. We have Commissioner Bolos online with us. We'll now do our 1 PM discussion regarding possible budget items. I'm assuming that might be changes. Regarding the sheriff's office, Chief Lively's with us, Laura's with us, and of course, we have their comptroller / finance expert with us. Go ahead. So, Chief, you're up.
Actually, Julie's gonna start with us to.
Oh, Julie, okay.
I'm up.
How come your name's not on here, Julie? Okay, I'm gonna write you in right now.
All right, perfect.
Good.
So when we went through the budget in 2026, there was a case manager position that was included in the budget, but it had been previously listed as grant funded. So
Is
this
this
was,
for the reentry?
Yeah, it's a community reentry.
I thought it was, okay.
yeah. So this position has been in the budget for the last 2 years, but hasn't been filled. And we would like to fill it as a non-grant funded position.
Okay,
So it's already in the budget.
it's in your budget?
Yeah, it's just mislabeled. So it actually shouldn't have been included in the budget.
So I guess, was it mislabeled because we didn't get the grant, or was it mislabeled as a grant that should have been in the budget?
It started as a.
It started as a grant
position
funded position.
That then shifted.
Okay,
And so we haven't used it for 2 years,
but it's in the budget now.
but it's in the budget now.
Yeah.
So, but we just need your permission to say we can use it as a non-grant funded.
And this would
position.
go into your program, is that correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey, questions, comments?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to. So, with all due respect, it's in your budget, but it's in your budget as a deficit. As an expenditure.
Mhm.
But the revenue to offset the expenditure would have come from the grant.
Right,
So
but
now we're saying we don't have that revenue associated with the expenditure.
the revenue was not budgeted for because this wasn't not in our minds being considered as grant funded any longer. So it was left in the budget, but there was no grant funding in the budget to offset it.
To me, Mr. Chair, there's a little thing that you taught us.
Yeah.
Now, let me just make sure I was paying close attention. Trust, but verify.
That's always my motto.
That's where I would need to be on that.
Yeah, and I actually talked with Stephanie Ebert last week. She has verified that it is in the budget and that there was no grant revenue.
So you wanna
offset.
hire that now
We want to hire that now.
in this year's budget? Correct.
And it would come out of, corrections.
Okay. Chief, any comments, questions other than what Julie stated?
To that now.
Okay. Or,
Not to that. I've got another thing after, but
Commissioner Bolos, this is in your portfolio. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, so it sounds like there's not any grant funding anymore, but you want to fill the
That's correct.
position?
That's correct. It was actually the old RISE budget that ended in September of last year.
Okay, so it's an actual increase to your budget.
No, because it's already in there. So it was left in the budget, shouldn't have been, but it was left in the budget.
Okay,
And was the grant revenue left in the budget as well?
No, it was not.
That's what
okay,
that
I think
sounds
I
like
know where
it's
you're
a-
coming from.
A net increase then, because if it was, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I'm gonna have to give it some thought. Because
Okay,
I mean, if it's not
I'll probably
funded, you're
wanna
asking
verify
for
that with
general,
Stephanie Ebert.
yeah,
I think Julie and I could probably work on maybe explaining a little bit better, send you guys an email and CC Stephanie in that, where,
That'd
Especially
be,
Julie's been.
I think that'd be helpful.
okay.
I mean, I think we're all about the reentry program and maybe we get grant funded for next year. I don't know. I mean, that's one thing we could put on our legislative list, but send that to, so if it's in the budget, mislabeled or anyway,
Mhm.
was never in the budget based upon grant funding,
Correct.
that's,
It was in the previous year,
yeah, okay.
but not for 2026.
So can you just send us more details on that then?
Yes.
Maybe in the form of an email and,
Mhm.
but we want to support wherever we can.
Okay.
But we want to be careful with budget items that
Mhm.
we're not creating deficits or additional expense where it's not needed.
Correct.
So, this is a much needed position and I hear what you're saying.
It is, and it's very related, I guess, ultimately to what I'm gonna speak to in addition today.
Go ahead.
So
Go
I
ahead.
brought you guys a handout.
Okay,
Feel free to peruse it. We'll send a digital copy to you. That way Commissioner Bowles can
I'll put that on the desk.
have that here.
okay, go ahead.
Either, I don't know if either of you need this, but, so ultimately, you guys are certainly familiar with our program and, the fact that we initially, got going with our program. We've been funded. We received $1.3 million in federal funding, end of 2022. We launched the program in May 2023.
Right,
So we've been going over 3 years now. That federal funding is set to end in September, which is what led us to then go to the state legislature earlier this year, in conjunction with the Public Defenders Group and the Forensic Social
Right.
Workers,
right.
to secure additional funding through state appropriation to be able to continue our program. We were able to secure that, and we have two, essentially that funding is going to continue 2 community reentry coordinator positions through June 30th of 2027. So we have that funding. The reason why we're bringing this forward early is because I want to have an opportunity to essentially communicate what we are and are not asking you guys for in this upcoming budget session. So we have this program already functioning. We're not asking for any additional positions to be created or any new programs. We are asking for you to consider funding those 2 positions after June 30th and incorporating it into the general fund budget, which is approximately $90,000 for the remaining of 2027, and then would be an ongoing estimate of.
So you're assuming the state won't reauthorize that appropriation?
We'd rather not hope that the state keeps funding that.
Okay, you just want, if we get it, then if you get that appropriation, you're fine, but you just want backup.
And
Is that
and
correct?
working. Want backup, but Laura can also probably explain this a little bit better than I can, but these 2 positions will help us. They're actually required by the 1115 waiver that we're working for the Medicaid stuff through the federal government. Our hope is, and we can't say numbers or anything like that, but the 1115 waiver and our reimbursements from Medicaid would actually cover these county paid for positions through that as a revenue source. But we can't speak to what our numbers are going to be. We can give you some general, I believe it's 215 to 250 adjudicated individuals in our
on a day-to-day average inside our facility that would potentially have access to the 1115 waiver that we could get revenue from, funding from, but we just don't know where that is. UHPP Monday last started in our facility to start doing those
Medicaid
waiver
enrollments.
requests and enrollments and stuff. So we're gonna need a year of data to say what that's actually gonna be, but to have the waiver and be eligible for it, we have to have the 2 CRC positions. And I don't want to take the chance that the state doesn't fund us again in 2027, and now we're coming to you, 9 months from now to say the state didn't do this, we need to come up with the funding now. We'd like to ask it to be in the 2027 budget for the second half, and then it's an ongoing permanent position with the county, knowing that the 1115 waiver will be able to keep getting reimbursed through the federal government and Medicaid ongoing for that. So we'll have ongoing revenue coming in, but showing how it's being paid for by the county as permanent positions. But they are requirements for the 1115 waiver for us to have in place and functioning.
So if I just,
And the third position, the one I first spoke of, we'd like that to be an ongoing as well.
The one we're talking about now.
the one that, so the one that Julie was
The one
talking
that-
about,
That
that,
one that was
One
listed,
that was potentially grant, it's
Yeah.
not.
correct. We'd like that to be an ongoing as well.
so that's a position that a couple of years ago, another position was created, and the person that was filling that position moved into a county position, and so then because we had the federal grant funds, we didn't fill that county funded position and are now looking to do that.
Got it.
And then we have these two as well, that are currently funded through June of next year with the state appropriation.
Good.
If I can add to what Chief Lavely was saying about the Medicaid justice waiver. So it's really a significant opportunity for the county to bring in a new revenue stream that will help offset a lot of the corrections costs.
With the feds. The Medicaid.
Yeah, through
yeah.
Medicaid, yeah, so.
Yeah, got it.
So historically, almost everything that we've done medically or with reentry services, for somebody that's incarcerated in our facility was simply a corrections cost, right? So it either was a county expenditure, or we, through reentry up to this point, have relied a lot on federal funding and now moving into state funding. The Medicaid justice waiver dramatically changes that. It positions us to, for any eligible Medicaid eligible individuals who are sentenced for up to 90 days pre-release, are able to be covered by Medicaid and be reimbursed for medical services as well as pre-release case management, MAT, labs, radiology, a myriad of different services. In order for a facility to be considered waiver eligible though, and actually implement and utilize this waiver and bill Medicaid for those reimbursements, there are 4 mandatory minimum services that have to be required or have to be provided to those individuals. First and foremost is pre-release case management, with the second being warm handoffs to post-release case management through the accountable care organizations that Medicaid program or like Select Health Molina, the programs that provide the medical coverage through Medicaid. MAT or medication for addiction treatment and counseling with that is the third, and the fourth is a 30-day supply of medication upon release. So essentially, pre-release case management is not only something that will be a Medicaid eligible reimbursable service, it also is a core component of us participating in the program to then leverage reimbursement for other medical and behavioral health costs.
Okay.
For a portion of our population. So I want to stress that we now have the ability to seek reimbursement for services that the county historically otherwise paid for without Medicaid participation. So while up front, it may be an increase in county budget, there is a potential there to offset that cost and then some.
Got it.
But you said, sorry, Mr.
No,
Chair.
go ahead.
You said there's a potential, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, if you look at the handout, I've made sure to have the disclaimer in different ways in here that this is not us providing a projection at this point, because we are too early in the data to make a responsible estimate at this point. We haven't actually started entering claims and receiving reimbursements. I have looked up the Medicaid reimbursement rates. And so based on that, we've looked at, there's two different reimbursement rates for case management. One is a considerably higher amount for those with substance use disorder. I used the lower reimbursement amount and looked at more from an illustrative standpoint rather than we predict, right? But if 25% of our sentenced population in a year is assigned to this Medicaid Justice Benefit Program, and then they receive these number of hours per person of case management services, this is potentially the revenue that we could be bringing in. So it's not me saying this is what's going to happen, because we are too early in that, but it gives at least some kind of numbers and visual to see that depending on how this plays out, there's a number of different volumes that we could be looking at, and that's just for case management. It's not giving any kind of even illustrative estimate for any of the medical services that would also be able to be.
Which might be included under that waiver.
They would, yes.
Would that be included, or is that just a potential?
It's all potential because we have to actually bill and then get reimbursed, right? But there is a long list in the operational guide for this Medicaid waiver of essentially Medicaid billing codes.
Right.
And their rates for what can be billed and received. It's all ultimately going to come down to what services individuals actually need, what's provided, right? Who's eligible for what.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
But so in your opinion, I know it's potentially, in your opinion, what are the chances that that waiver would be granted if we were to?
Oh, I'm sorry. The waiver is granted. That part is not potential. I apologize.
Okay, so the waiver is granted.
Yes, so
BP last one.
Okay, so because that's a concern. I mean, I've dealt with Medicaid enough at the state.
Yeah, no, I apologize. So we've completed a lot of steps for the last year and a half.
Okay, so you've got the waiver.
We've got the waiver that Utah's implementing it. We are actually the first facility in the state to be implementing it. We are a model for other facilities right now and getting this implemented.
Well, that's a big difference. Then.
We are already, I've gone through the steps to get the sheriff's office approved as a Medicaid provider. So we're already positioned to bill Medicaid. We also have some state funding that we received that just got, this was what we came actually to recently to the commission meeting, and then we did the after meeting interview and that to say this funding allows us to pay for that Medicaid enrollment services as well as the third-party Medicaid billing to get us up and rolling with billing. We're just going through the process now of getting quotes for third-party billing services and things to actually start billing. But we are to that point where we're already doing the things and providing the services. We just have to take those last couple steps to actually start submitting claims.
Okay, that's good. So the only thing I would say is from a legislative standpoint, I would think that if I'm in your shoes, let's talk to Stephanie Russell. That needs to go on our legislative priority list. And because I think we have a good opportunity, depending on who the lobbyist for the county may or may not be, to get that reinstated. Then what I would say is during budget session, we could put provisions, if state funding is granted, that we have a rollback, that whatever dollars, you know what I'm saying? That those dollars would come back to the county if, I mean, that 6-month gap is problematic. But if we can get you ongoing funds or a period of time, and if we were to authorize those, appropriate those funds in the county budget, that if we're successful at the state, those funds should come back to the county basically as a budget change positive to the general fund.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And really, this is, most of this is just a shot across the bow, but that we're not gonna have all the data we need for the 2027 budget. So we're gonna wanna put these positions in full-time for the full year with the asterisks of, there's probably gonna be some revenue that will offset.
Well, yeah, and I just wanna say, I don't want you giving up on the state.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And,
That's huge.
and if, because I think we've got a pretty good temperament down there to refund that. Again, that's just a crapshoot, but I think that I need you folks to buy into that and show up to the Capitol and plead your case. So, you know,
Testify.
Do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Anyway.
and we're clearly on the forefront, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, we're leading
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
it within the state.
Yeah, I just-
So,
I guess what I'm saying is I don't, if we were to fund that, I don't want you sitting back saying, I'm not worried about the state.
right,
I want you to still be worried about the state.
Yeah.
Still worried about the
That-
state, still worried about our goal is just to make sure we keep the program
Yeah.
going when something falls through.
No.
Murphy's Law, you know.
No, I get it.
One is none. We want to make sure we've got county and state to keep these positions
No.
going, so we can get into the reimbursement.
No.
Through the.
Okay, makes sense to me.
One of these explain that Murphy Law thing for me. Two is none, one is one, later, not right now.
I'll send you.
I've never heard that one.
Never done.
so.
I know
what do you-
about the toast falling face first on the floor with the butter, but I don't know about the two is done.
Okay, Julie?
Okay.
So what is it you need from us to be able to shift this position to a non-grant funded to be able to fill it? We'd like to open up all three together.
Well,
Well-
I've gotta get some verification.
Yeah, so on the first one, we need some verification. And I think send us that email, we can review that, talk to Stephanie. On the second one, which is really, what do we do after July 1
Yeah.
with the additional two? That needs to come in budget session.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
goal
we
is
just-
to explain it, so we're not trying to have a big whole budget sheriff's office conversation in October, but this is the reason why we've got these two.
Yeah,
positions.
no, I appreciate that.
So you'll see.
So I
this
think
little
what I'm
line
saying is
item.
we need to probably separate those
Yep.
two.
Yep,
And-
I will show a line item for the last 6 months for those positions.
Yeah, let's do that. And then
Okay.
budget session, we can talk about the other two. Commissioner Ballos, questions or comments? This is in your portfolio.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'd like some verification from Stephanie. I'm not really inclined right now to fund a position. I know that it's in the budget right now, but there's not offsetting grant funds like we thought there were. So I'd like that to be verified. And then the other considerations, I appreciate the heads up and kind of it sounds like you guys are just in here to let us know what's coming. So I appreciate that, but I don't think I want to make any decisions on that until we have our budget meetings. And then we can talk about the legislative piece of it and everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
But we really, the time sensitive one is the reclassifying the one that
Right.
just says grant funded, because we'd like to open for
Yeah.
3 rather than
Because we
2.
need to post these.
Sure.
The
No, I-
temporary funded ones.
So,
We
still
really
to
need to
get
deal with that first, and then we'll deal with the ongoing.
Yeah.
In budget session.
And then
Yeah.
I would suggest when you come back for the budget session, have some numbers for us on the Medicaid. What we would anticipate and again, I understand it's not in concrete, but give us kind of a range that we could look
Yeah.
for.
I mean, that is here,
Okay,
in this handout
Yeah.
that.
okay, so are these
Yeah.
numbers then pretty accurate as far as what you anticipate?
As far as what I can try
Okay.
to
Okay, good.
estimate. at
Then
this
you've already
point,
done it.
yes.
You've done your best.
And I-
to-
You've done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
based
That's what I was
on
thinking.
the limited information.
You've done your homework. You second guessed me and it was right.
I have tried.
So reach out if you need anything more from me on that position.
We will.
And then I guess have Steph let me know when it's ready to be posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that. Okay, anything else,
Okay.
chief?
I'll
Or
follow up with you.
Julie?
Nope, but I'll be in here for the next meeting. so.
You'll be here. Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Send Josh in.
All right. Thanks very much. Good seeing you again. Well, we're right on schedule. Look at that.
Thank you, attaboy.
Wow. Saw Chief Gar. Hey, Jessica, would you call our good friend over at KSL, Vandernack? Cause you heard from him?
No.
So he called me, but I don't really have time to call him back. He called about what we did with the ICE contract. Which
Oh,
was,
that would be. with
that was
the-
just last week, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was on
yeah.
Last Tuesday's agenda.
Actually talked to me as I was leaving to come here.
So did the sheriff call him?
So I think the sheriff, he reached out to the sheriff.
I know
And so
he-
we were gonna sit down with the contract and just go through it.
Okay,
And come up with the sheriff's talking points.
That's where it should
so
come from.
get a hold of Vandernax
This
and
one
just
is,
say, hey, you've talked to me,
reimbursement
your
one.
best source is the sheriff. And
Oh,
have any
That's what we
questions?
approved last Tuesday,
Talk to the
wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay,
That's been, Chris's team worked very hard on getting us that contract.
thank you.
Wow, you all did amazing too to get the feds to modify language.
I know.
Yeah, we got DC to modify their contract.
Unbelievable.
So did you get it how you wanted it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, Brian Barron had some issues with it and it was back and forth for a while. The sheriff has a contact back there and reached out. DC changed their contract to fit Weber County's needs, so.
Pretty stinking cool.
You know, Barron, he swings about a 34, doesn't it? It ain't any of those little 28, 29ers. He's swinging a 34, maybe a 35er.
Might be a
Big
35.
kick.
It's pretty remarkable.
I think we're waiting for him to-
Proud of
Okay.
him and the sheriff's office for this. It's great.
As Soon as Emily shows up here, we'll get going. All right, we're back. We got Commissioner Bolos online. This is our 1:30 discussion regarding enforcement captain position. Chief Josh Gard is with us, Julie Stotter's with us, Emily Wild. So Chief, I'm gonna go to you first. You're listed first.
Yeah, so as this came up, commissioners, as you know, we've made a split in the enforcement division, general fund, contract cities. We've created two different agencies now, Weber Metro and Weber County, to better track with what our goal is coming back to the commission, better track those calls for service and keep that money separate. With that, there's been a need come up to kind of have some supervision over that metro side outside of me. A couple reasons why. Currently, we have with our contract cities are split up between our lieutenants, 5 lieutenants. General fund shouldn't really be going out and doing those contract city details. So I have 2 general fund
Yeah.
lieutenants.
Yeah.
That I would need to pull contract cities away from them. I really shouldn't have a whole lot of involvement really in the contract city side other than overall supervision of the enforcement division. Which creates that need for that captain position. We currently have a vacant sergeant position. So in talking with Julie and working with Emily, we did get a captain position approved through URS, so we have a job description now for the enforcement side. We did that prior to coming to you. What I would like to do is use that current sergeant money, add some to it and create a captain position. This will reduce any confusion as far as chain of command between Weber Metro and Weber County. Cleans up my direct reports. Currently, I think I have 7 or 8 direct reports on my side, and it'll create those cleaner lines as we continue with this separation.
And we'd be proposing to use part of our savings, because we're ahead of our $400,000 goal. Use approximately 28,000 of that savings to push up the sergeant position up to where we think
your
the
captain?
for the captain.
So we have the money, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, to do that now,
Mhm.
but then it would be an ongoing expense, but an ongoing expense for contract cities, not general fund.
So how do you push that on if, you talk about metro versus county, so how does that get pushed to the contract cities?
It's just the remaining balance from that sergeant position gets split between the
Right, so
Okay.
it'll just
Oh,
be
Contracts.
one more position to the contract city.
So that position goes on contract cities,
Correct,
Correct,
not general fund.
correct.
yes.
Is that
So
right?
we'd be using the existing position
Yeah,
and approximately 28,000 annually. To fund that, obviously, it's gonna be September or later before we do that. So we're not gonna actually take a big hit this year, but then going forward, it's gonna be.
so it's ongoing, but you want it approved now.
Yes. And it's not adding a position, it's just enhancing a position.
Changing
Modified, yeah.
positions from
Basically, we eliminate the sergeant position, add 20,
28,000.
and then we got a captain.
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
That's correct.
And that captain would oversee Weaver Metro, report to me, handle those 3 lieutenants. He would also be there to take some of that workload from contract city meetings, because the lieutenants are the liaison for the contract city. So if I were to put 9 contract cities on 3 lieutenants, that's quite a bit. So the captain would also take a couple of those smaller contract cities and take some of that
Like a
workload on.
Winter or a
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, Emily,
Yes.
what do you think?
Well, I mean, if the staffing need is there, I think it's fine. They've got a captain in the jail already. We took that job description, refined it for enforcement specific. It's been approved through URS. So I think staffing wise, if the need is there.
Okay.
And Chief Perry proposed a captain position 4.5 years ago, just before I became chief. And one of the problems we ran into working through that is we really didn't have a justified need for an enforcement captain at that time. We didn't know, couldn't really explain what they were gonna do. Now with this separation
Okay.
and I mean, there's things happening in the contract cities that are gonna bolster those contract numbers. We're gonna ask for more deputies in the contract side. That division is gonna get bigger. So the need is there for that overlying supervision of those lieutenants in that division.
Well, I'm glad, it just appears to me that growth will come to the contract cities.
Yes.
Which they should pay for, not out of the general, which that goes back to a long discussion, but.
Yeah, and this just, like I said, cleans up those lines between general fund and contract cities, so.
Okay. Anything else, Emily?
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Ballos, this is in your portfolio.
Yep, thank you so much. I appreciate it. A couple of things, commissioners. I know that I think it was about 5 months ago that we met with all the cities and all cities meeting and talked about this. And subsequently followed up with the sheriff, chief guard, and talked about keeping records of where these deputies are spending their time. I think we all made it really clear that it should be business as usual. I believe I reported back to you two on a biweekly meeting, maybe a month after that. Chief Guard let me know that he is separated, was planning to separate the two. And Chief, you remember I let you know at the time that was not the request. It's really important for us to keep business as usual. And I know that you've gone forward with that separation, and that's what's created the need for this captain position. So I'm really hesitant to approve this because I think we can delineate what the work the deputies are doing just by their codes in their time cards. I would really like to see, before I consider this, I would like to see those stats that will come to us. I believe it's beginning October would be a 6-month mark. And then consider it. That puts us right around the budget time, which I think is the best time to consider this captain position. I know that that you've got money this year, and especially with the conversion of one position, that you can do it for 1 year. But I would rather not commit to a position unless we're ready to commit ongoing. And we'll be in the middle of our budget hearings when we get that data back, that 6-month data from the sheriff's office. Now, recognizing that you have separated that and I think have beefed up your patrol in the contracts or the non-contract cities. The data may not show us what we wanted it to show us because it hasn't really been business as usual. But to get a clearer picture, I would prefer having that clearer picture before I consider this. So And then the other thing is too, if we consider this, I really want the buy-in of the contract cities. And I don't know, Chief, if you've had a quarterly meeting in a while. I haven't been to one or seen an invite to one, but I think we may have skipped second quarter, maybe not. Maybe that was the budget one. Anyway, well, I would really like to weigh in of all those city managers and mayors, because that's an additional position. And they're already paying for 6 more, I believe it was, that we added with this budget. And we're looking at 4 additional and possibly 10 more. If we have all those deputies, then they probably would absolutely say, yeah, we need a captain to facilitate that and to oversee those deputies. But I think they need to be a big part of this conversation.
Okay, so your suggestion is we wait until we have that data back we've asked for the 6-month review. Am I understanding what?
Really, my suggestion is to wait until the budget. I don't want to commit now to something because we have one-time funds, and the sergeant wages are ongoing, obviously, but the additional is ongoing. And we only have one time right now with this year's budget. So I don't want to commit until the budget, but that just happens to put us, 6 months past when we asked for that data. So it just kind of coincides perfectly, I think, but allows us to consider that data and also get feedback from the contract cities, which we really have until we adopt our final budget in December, because if we add this position and it goes, squarely on the backs of the contract cities and they're in support, great, it's no skin off our nose, right? As the general fund dollars go. I don't think we care if we have the support of those cities, because it's just a pass through. But we really have until, our final budget to make sure that we have their buy-in, to make sure that we have their understanding of the need and their support of the need.
Okay, thank you for that. Commissioner Harvey.
Few questions for you.
Sir.
Please correct me. This is my understanding, and if you'll correct me if I've got some misunderstanding. I'm going to take it back to kind of an element. So the first, if I'm a new line level deputy, the first promotion I can get to would be a corporal.
Not in the enforcement division. We've done away with those.
Okay, first
Sergeant.
No, that's okay. So I'm trying to keep them all straight.
Okay.
So now there's no more corporal. You've done away with those. Now you have, that's right, because the pay study helped with all that. Sergeant, and then sergeant would be lieutenant. Lieutenant would be captain. Captain would then be chief. Chief would then be sheriff.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, next question. In the enforcement division, your portfolio, you're in charge of that part. You've taken based on the general fund, you've got the general fund duties over here, which we said 28, and then you've got contract cities.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Of which, on those contract cities, which is this one, those contract cities, Weber County is one of those contracted cities.
Unincorporated, yes.
Unincorporated, that's great. Same thing, different word, but same thing, great. You're saying of these two, you're the chief, so you'd be here. You're the chief. You would have direct over the general fund still, and the captain would be over this side.
I would have oversight of both, but there would be another level of supervision on the captain's, on the contract city side.
Over here.
Yes.
So you'd have general, I understand that. You'd basically be putting a person between here and here. And you'd be just straight here. There wouldn't be another person there.
Because personnel on the general fund doesn't warrant that need.
Okay, got it. How many deputies are assigned here? How many, not the 28?
56.
56, 28, 56. That's kind of a even double number. Got it. What is the sergeant position that's vacant. Where is that? Here or here?
It was a general fund sergeant position, but it's at the strike force.
Strike force.
The narcotics, and we had a meeting with OPD and they requested that we not send a sergeant over there. They would rather have 2 agents.
So, so if you're gonna take, okay. Thank you. So if you're gonna take the sergeant from this hand, are you going to reimburse that sergeant with a general, just another person over here?
Mhm.
Because, so if the sergeant's over here, then it's really, there's gonna be the difference between the sergeant and the regular person. So there's a little fun difference there too, isn't there?
Correct. Yes.
So really, we're not talking about 28,000. We're talking about the difference between the sergeant position and the regular position is going to be something.
Yeah, maybe 10 to 15,000.
Okay,
10 to 15.
so really, we're not talking about 28. It would be a whole new position
But for the general fund,
and
it
only
actually,
15,000 to be able to put towards that.
for the general fund, it would be 15,000 less. Because instead of the sergeant, it has an extra deputy.
Understand that.
And so that we'd be shifting the 15,000. Well, we'd be shifting the captain over there. So the entire captain's wages would go to contract cities.
Yeah, but you're saying you would apply all the sergeant's wages to the captain, which isn't true. Because you still have to augment the other position over here, the money from that position over here.
Okay,
So really, you're only shifting 15,000 of
15,000.
the sergeant's money to this new position over
Gotcha.
here. And this isn't a question of whether you need it or not, it's just a
Mhm.
question of finance.
Yep.
So really, instead of all the sergeant's wages going over to here, it would be $15,000 the pay differential from here going over to this side over here.
I'd have to look specifically. Because if I remember right, this sergeant position actually was a fairly highly paid sergeant.
Was it?
And so it actually might be more than 15.
Would you mind, so what I'm trying to establish is the real cost
Yeah,
here.
of course.
So I just need to know, you're going to bring in another person to keep that at 28. And then even if it's a highly paid sergeant, I'm gonna need to know the difference between that. That's the amount of money that you'd be going to apply over here, and then you would take that money and then payroll savings, whatever's there, to
Mhm.
make the captain position, which is gonna be more than all of the sergeants.
Correct.
Okay, got it. I understand the
So
difference.
you just need to see the differential.
I would like to see the differential. We are 4 weeks away from our blessed budget season. I'm not gonna call it a beautiful big bill. I'm gonna call it a blessed budget.
Bless it. I like that. I'll tell Trump you said that.
But I think in fairness, we tell well, that's not true either because of, well, I'm just thinking of the fifth now.
Uh-huh.
But most of those we tell to wait till budget.
Well, we won't have,
All day long, we've been getting these requests ahead of budget right now, and I'm kind of, today is like, why are we jumping the gun? And it's because I understand you have the needs.
And you know what, Commissioner, if I may,
Yeah,
the job description is there. It's been approved. It's there. If we need to wait for budget and I'm okay to talk with the contract cities, I'm okay to do that. I would like to address Commissioner Bolos in the business as usual.
go ahead.
If we do business as usual, we're going to be right back talking about subsidizing and everything else. There is no time management way or no good way to leave everybody in one big pot and separate it out hour by hour, minute by minute of what we're doing, which is why the separation is staying unless the sheriff fires me, at least for the next 4 years, because it's the cleanest way. It takes out any question whatsoever as to who's doing what and where the money is coming from. And I don't want anybody to come back and say we're fudging numbers. We can't fudge numbers in this model. It's either general fund or it's contract city. And going back, and the reason for this captain position, it just cleans up that line even more. But like I said, I'm willing to wait till budget. I'm willing to have a conversation with the contract cities. what I'm doing is going to present you, I'm only gonna have about May to September worth of data, because we actually made the physical switch at the end of May with the two separate agencies in Spillman. But I think I'll have some good numbers. I'm gonna have some good numbers for general fund, some good numbers for contract city. We are probably gonna need to get a year and a half, 18-month data set to really talk bodies going one way or the other out of general fund or into contract city. But this is the cleanest way that I could see to say, yes, general fund dollars are being used for general fund, contract city funds are being used for contract city, and there's no lines crossing whatsoever.
What I hear you saying, I'm gonna use my hands again.
It's all right.
You've got a third, I'm gonna go like this, you got a third of the folks over here, and you got 2/3 of the whole enforcement division. A third and 2/3 over here,
Correct.
and you're asking for a person in between you and the 2/3 here.
Yes.
And it should, if this number 28 were to grow to 56,
I would be asking.
you would probably be asking for a person over here between you and them,
I would be, yes.
having two captains. If, cause that number, we're still waiting to see those numbers come back, and you're saying you in May created a hard line data set, so we should be able to see those numbers, but if I understood you correctly, you'll only have May, June, July, August, maybe some September. You'll have some of the things, but you're hoping, gosh, I'd like to have 18 months worth of data. And really it takes about, in my mind, it always takes about 3 years. We talked about that
No
earlier.
question.
But it takes about 3 years, but at least, and this goes back to what I was there in your office that night. We've got to start somewhere. This is a cleaner accounting way
It is.
to do it. And so,
What it also does, Commissioner, is it tells, sorry, I don't mean to keep
no,
interrupting.
it's fine.
It tells the contract cities, if we need more on the contract side, there's hard data and numbers to show that we need more.
I think that's what Commissioner Bolos was speaking to the whole time, is instead of us speaking to it all the time, let the numbers speak to it. I applaud her in her efforts to separate these, because I think that this is what that is doing. This will also tell us if that 28 number is more correct than 32, 33, 31, whatever that is, or if it should be the 15 or the 21 or whatever that is. I think that's where that's headed. So in my mind, I think there's validity in some of that. I do think with the discussion that you've allowed me to be a part of with those contract cities, I think it would be good form, good management to give them a heads up. Hey, this is what we know now. This is where we are. This is what we've done. This is where we're asking for your contract cities for your mid-budget year. And if there hasn't been another contract city meeting since the one I attended earlier this year, it'd probably be high time, because it's been more than a quarter to do that. But those are just my thoughts. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, I appreciate that.
And one other thing to point out, I mean, one of the things that Josh talked about is we do have some lieutenants who are in the general fund who are doing contract city duties.
Sure.
Because,
Whoa. You have some
because,
lieutenants who are in the general fund who are doing contract city. That shouldn't be the case if it's a clear hard line.
but that's the
That's
problem.
the need for the captain. And we're just gonna
And
have,
so I just wanted to reiterate that.
So does the captain eliminate that?
yes.
That's what,
We can eliminate it now. It's just gonna put a lot of work on 3 lieutenants in contract cities,
Okay.
but that's okay. That's what they get paid for.
okay. Well,
Did Commissioner Bolos have
anything else, Commissioner?
I don't think so. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts going through my mind, but I don't think so. I think I'm good to wait for the data that Chief Guard has when we meet again with all cities. And then, for the budget hearings.
Right. I don't disagree. So in theory, I probably understand where you're heading. I'm probably in support, but I would this will come during budget session. I want to see when you say this will clear that lineup, so there's no confusion between contract cities and general fund. I'd like to see why that model in fact will work. And we want to see the data, obviously. So, but again, I would say you know, we've taken a lot of heat from the contract cities over the past year and a half to 2 years that I think that I put back on the sheriff's office saying, really, this is the sheriff's office responsibility to tell the contract cities what reality is. And instead of us being the bad guys, you should go to the contract cities and say, this is where we are. And rather than have them come back to us and Commissioner Bolos and saying, commissioners are the bad people here, that's your job to explain to the contract cities why they're paying.
Correct.
And again, if you believe, like we do, that there should be a clear separation between the general fund and contract cities, they should understand that. But, I mean, I know where they're coming from. I've had a number of mayors call me and say, we need you guys to be nicer to the contract cities and pick up more. Well, it's not a matter of being nice. It's a matter of allocating funds in the bucket of money that we're put into. It's called protection of those taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
So I would just say, I would like more information, but I just would go back and say, look, I think the onus should be on you, not on the commission. So that, you know, if they, all of a sudden the contract cities call us and say, we hear you're gonna give us another cut or another increase, that's not gonna make me happy. I think you need to have that heart-to-heart discussion with those contract cities before it hits us.
I
Is that,
don't disagree with you.
I think that in full transparency, that would be the best way. That's how I would want to hear it if I were a sitting mayor.
well, yeah,
I think I would want to hear it from you but the great part about you being here now is, hey, look, we've been to the commission, we've pitched this idea. We're going to take the difference between a position and the sergeant, those wages, and transfer those from the general fund over to the contract city. So a portion of it will be taken care of. And this is how much more we're gonna add on this side. And some of them may budget it. I don't know what their budgets look like because they're on the fiscal calendar. But I think that would show, I think that would be good. I think that would be.
yeah.
I don't disagree.
And
I just want transparency.
Absolutely. You don't have to, but I mean, I know Commissioner Bolo sits in those contract city meetings, but this is as good as a contract city. I mean, sitting down with any of the ones
Yeah.
you've got there for me. I mean, I get what that does. Our percentage, so.
And as long as you've got the data to back, again, whatever, and I've said this from day one, as long as you've got the data and on the management chart in place that shows why these two were separated and how we can justify on our budget how they're separated, I'm cool with it, whatever that turns out to be.
Okay.
But I don't want to load the books.
I agree. I agree.
I don't want to cook the books.
Cook the books.
Cook the books.
I think it's not
Cook the books.
loading.
Well,
I
yeah,
think it's cooking.
it is good. Well, you know,
It is.
I'm a good chef sometimes.
Well,
We load it up.
you make a really good ice water, I'll
I do.
tell you.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Appreciate it.
I have
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead. Hold on.
First of all, I know we talked about 18 months and we had that conversation, I know 5 months ago, when we met with all the cities, which is this can be a fluctuating number. We don't expect the 6-month data to show, you know, it's gonna have to even out. And I would say, you know, after that 18 months, it's probably something that needs to be revisited every year or two, because it's gonna still fluctuate. You're probably gonna see more needs in the unincorporated part of the county and the contract cities. So that's to be expected. I had one more thought. No, I forgot. We'll address it later, I guess. Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. The bottom line of this is fairness. This is why I brought it up in the first place a year and a half ago, is because the 32 number was dated back to when I was the mayor. That's a long time ago. It's just something that needed to be revisited. And I said from the beginning, what I want to do is be fair. And if it makes the contract cities mad, or it makes the non-contract cities mad, that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that the people who are receiving services are the people who are paying for them. And if somebody's bill goes up or down, them getting angry is not a factor for me. I want to make sure the taxpayers who are utilizing your services, Chief Guard, are paying for them. Whether it's I'm a general fund taxpayer and I'm paying for something that benefits the whole county, or whether I live in West Haven and I need to pay my fair share. It needs to be fair. And that's why I started this. And so I hope that we can sew this up, at least the first iteration of it, before I leave office. And then I hope that it gets revisited every year or two, because it needs to be fair and it needs to stay fair. I think, the amount of time that's transpired between when I was part of this as a mayor and now is just too long with the kind of growth that we're seeing in the contract cities and unincorporated Weber County. So I hope we can sew this up, before Commissioner Ford and I leave office, and then I hope that it gets revisited, because it's really about fairness for the taxpayers. What you're paying for is what you get, and what you get is what you're paying for. So I appreciate your efforts on this, you and Julie, Chief. It means a lot to me, because I think that fairness is what I'm after.
We agree.
Well said. Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Emily.
Wildcat.
All right,
Square.
we're back in session. This is our 2 p.m. discussion regarding Ogden City Wildcat Square CRA. Stephanie Russell. Tiffany, start. Stephanie, go ahead. You've got some guests if you'd like.
Commissioners, we'll go around the room and do some quick introductions. Really excited to come before you today. We had the opportunity to meet with Ogden City about this particular proposed project. They met with our Economic Development Finance Committee, which, as you know, is our first step in looking over any proposals to participate in a community reinvestment area. So let's go around the room really quick, do some quick introductions, and then Eric has a presentation for you, and then we can answer some questions.
Sean, I think everybody knows who you are, but just to be safe.
Yep, Sean Wilkinson, Weaver County's Community Development Director.
Christopher Crockett, County Attorney's Office.
Eric Gibson, Ogden City Economic Development.
David Sawyer, Community and Economic Development for Ogden City.
Mark Halverson, Weaver State.
Casey Keller, Keller Development.
Dustin Clark, Weaver County Public Relations.
Jim Harvey, Weber County.
Engage for Weber County. Okay.
Okay, Eric, take it
And you've
over.
got Commissioner Sharon
Oh,
Bowles.
Yeah, Commissioner Bowles is on.
Yeah.
online.
Yeah, and Sharon's on, she just has her mic off, but go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for meeting with us, and I appreciate, Stephanie, your support in the Economic Development Finance Committee for their feedback. And we've tried to incorporate some of that in the presentation, make sure we're speaking to what you need to hear and what you are interested in. So the proposal you have in front of you is that Ogden City is requesting that the county participate in the Wildcat Square Community Reinvestment Area. This will be a brand new reinvestment area, and it's going to be exclusively on the Weber State University campus. So it's going to be pretty close to the other current housing units that currently exist, just next to the OGX station, a little bit south of that main building. A little bit of the history of this is that in October of 2025, there was a new student housing project that was proposed to the WSU Senate. It was an RFP process that Weber State University initiated. It was for a 99-year lease, and the project ended up with 4 stories and 513 units. Keller Development Group was the one that was awarded the RFP. Casey's joined us today. And then in January of the following year of 2026, this year, they approached the city to discuss supporting the project financially. Here's a little bit more of what the actual project area would look like. This would be the boundaries of the CRA. It'll be exclusive to this development only, so we're not anticipating any other projects being incorporated.
You got that figured out?
No, I'm still trying to get it figured out when he was talking.
You know where the Alumni Center is?
There's the roundabout.
There's the Alumni Center right here.
Yep.
Yeah, so just north of that.
About
I
So
thought
it's-
that was
it's-
your practice football field.
It is 2 play fields.
Can't take that out. Sorry.
We are relocating. We're actively working with relocating it over by the D Event Center on the old Avondette property. So
Oh,
those fields are going over there.
Say that again, you're putting that over on the old what field?
Avondette property, there's a little corner of undeveloped real estate where kind of the D Event Center parking lot is in the, what is that, southeast corner?
Southeast corner,
Yes.
really?
Mhm.
You own that up there on that?
That was
Okay.
an old Avondette estate that was part of the original property acquisition when the D Event Center was acquired.
But it's
And-
never been developed up there.
Correct. Barbara Avondette lived in the home until 18 months ago, I think. And she's now passed. But if you ever want a guarantee you're gonna live to be 100, enter a life estate with Weber State University. Because it is what the minute we do, we've entered 3, and all 3 have lived to be over 100 years old.
So how much ground have you got with that estate?
Well, we got all of the D Event Center, but the little corner right there, I wanna say is 4 acres.
Oh, that's not.
Cause there was a little teeny portion of it that was, that we just recently acquired, so that the entire undeveloped area north of 4600 is all ours.
So you're gonna tear up asphalt to do this or?
No, it's
No.
all undeveloped.
Yeah.
It's all dirt.
Mhm,
Across
it
the
is.
street from that on the south side, they were growing a little tree farm over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
Ray Nelson's farm, yeah, across the
Yeah.
street.
Nice guy.
got it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I just needed to
No, I appreciate
understand.
it.
You
Yeah.
talked. I
Hold up
thought,
the
"What?"
map. Well, right there next to the sea, kind of just to the southeast of it, is the OGX station, right? It's a brand new OGX station that was just built
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
There's some new data that was released by the Standard Examiner last week. They're getting 3 million riders since it opened, about 7,000 average daily riders. So it's really well utilized. And UTA just announced that the free fare is going to be extended through spring of 2028. So this is heavily used, especially by students. It's a very successful line, and this is connected right into that.
They don't all come from downtown Ogden and go all the way to McKay, those 7,000.
No,
They
that's
might
anywhere in the
yeah,
line.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hop on, hop off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we'd anticipate that this project would definitely leverage that connection and would give students a direct connection to downtown Ogden, to the front runner, to the other bus lines, and give them a really great connection to the regional economy. Casey, I'll give you a little bit of time just to speak to the actual development itself and some of the amenities that are anticipated for this.
Yeah, so this specific project just consists of over 500 beds. We've got a mix of shared bedrooms and private bedrooms. And what this actually does is allow us to give a housing solution that's about half the cost of what they would have to pay at a conventional apartment community, where one bedrooms are running roughly $1,200 a month right now. We would give them price points as low as $550 a month. And in conjunction with that, give them a student housing life and experience that is something that they would expect. Now, I've had my eye on Weber State for quite some time because I did a lot of work down at UVU when they built the first big project down there. Since then, I've seen housing go in big ways, not just at UVU, but Utah State, down at Utah Tech, even Snow College. And it's like Weber State has not had a whole lot of attention on it. I bought an old building across the street that was built by the Campion family in 1969. It's purpose-built off campus, and nothing has been built since. And the big part of that is just because of the economics. We don't get the rents that they're getting at University of Utah and BYU. Their rents are 40 to 50% higher, so you can never really justify development here. However, the vision that we've got is to provide the same kind of housing, quality of housing and amenities. And so this plan here shows those amenities that we plan to incorporate and also offer it to all the students that live on campus to utilize them. So they've been programmed so that we can have a great place to congregate for the students. They get to meet each other. They get out of their bedrooms all of their spare hours and actually meet with other students. Just going through the list of amenities in it, we have a large pool, hot tub, we have fitness center and yoga studio. We have a large turf play area, sand volleyball, 3 pickleball courts, hammock gardens, and a basketball court. So that is something that you're seeing at virtually every other university in the state. And we want to bring it here to Weber State. So this is the.
We've also got foosball.
We do.
Jim says yes, yep.
That's always important. That's right.
And Jim's a big foosball player, is he?
No, I just haven't seen the foosball table in decades.
Yeah.
So it's nice that it's
coming back.
Yeah, you're bringing it back like Fresca.
Yeah. Theme in a lot of ways is bring back the 90s. So.
And my understanding is that these amenities are available to all students, right? Not
all
just
students
those.
that live on campus. So there's another 1,000 that live on campus right now. Okay.
So we're a traditional commuter campus. I think everybody knows that. And one thing we've always lacked is kind of that on-campus life and presence. And we're really working hard to try to bring more students onto campus, create more energy and life on campus. And also we're fighting an enrollment decline with, the graduating seniors from high school is an enrollment in a declining number. So we've got to work hard to make sure we're attractive to those incoming students. And we actually have a lot of seniors that aren't going on to college, and we want to make that this is an attractive option for post-graduation. So we're really working hard to make sure Weber State stays viable and stays relevant and really creates a dynamic on-campus life, and this is a big part of it. we also have a lot of out-of-state and international students that really, really need housing. And so this is part of that as well. We've had wait lists for the last 6 years in our housing. We need to develop, but we've known we need it for a long time. And really, we've been looking for the surrounding community and development to help us solve that problem. And the economics have just never worked out with some of the issues in the surrounding community. So bringing it onto campus, while we're not owning it, this is a P3 partnership where they will own it and manage it. Creates a lot less risky position for the university where we're not actually bonding for the project and investing in the project. And unfortunately, we do that. We build it to state standards, which are even more expensive. And having a developer come in as a partner seems to be a way most universities are building their housing these days as well.
So is it a land lease?
It is.
So why don't you want to bond for it? I mean, it's on the campus. Why not just go to the legislature? You've got some friends down there.
And we've done that, and we've got some outstanding debt with Wildcat Village and University Village are actually still bonded projects. And what we found is that, you know, that's a heavy burden on the university to outlay that much capital. And we can't build it as effectively or as efficiently as our developer partners. And so it's a risk conversation. We feel like Casey's willing to come in and share some of the risk with us. And keep the cost low for students. So it's a way we can deliver a cost per bed at a lower rate.
Yet still make some money on the land lease.
And actually, and you'll see in just a minute, we're gonna run through the numbers with the county.
Yeah.
When I was first approached about this project, my first thought was, well, Weaver County does not participate in housing projects, right, David?
Well, that's my first question. Why are we talking about this? We've never allowed housing programs to come to the CRA. Why
So-
would we start?
This is an actual moneymaker for the county. So,
How?
and we're gonna go through this statute really quick and give you guys a preview of what that looks like.
Okay.
And then you guys can make a decision if you want to move forward. We're basically taking this piece of nonprofit land and putting it back on the tax digest for 100 years, or would you guys say
99 years.
99 years, 99 years. So we sat through it, so let's kind of go through this
Yeah.
stage and see what you think about it.
I said before, people lie, numbers usually don't, so show me the numbers.
Exactly. And I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the committee was the same way until we sat through the program and
Okay.
and go ahead and do that part of the presentation.
Yeah.
And let's ask some questions and have a realistic conversation about what the county is really investing in at
Right.
this point.
Okay.
And the return on the investment, which is what I told you guys, return on investment, show the commission the return on investment.
So there is a pretty large gap. It's gonna be significantly more than the CRA would contribute, but it helps them to fill that gap a little bit. But they're a little under 5 million short in terms of, or sorry, not short, that's just the total earth movement, right? The
Coming out of the
infrastructure
ground on this
costs.
project
Yeah.
was a little bit more expensive than we anticipated for bare ground.
The site, just so you know, this is a site that was created
Yeah.
over the
So
last.
you've got 5 million site improvements?
Yeah, we didn't know, but apparently that site was leveled using the excavations from the pond when they dug
That could be.
the detention. And so
Yeah.
it's all unengineered, unsecured fill.
Every time a building was built, they would dump all the dirt on this site.
Created a nice
It-
level site for playfields though.
It used to be you used to have a 31-foot slope, and now it's even.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I remember that.
No, I do too.
No, but, and that's I'll bet some pretty rich dirt. Good dirt.
Well, it's grown, we have a sand-based field there it's been done pretty well for the last 2
Yeah,
decades.
yeah.
so.
Yeah. Hey, keep going.
Well, here's just the estimated economic impact from that construction work, total $3 million, total investment, 400 direct, construction job years, 728 induced indirect, job years of economic activity from this project. So here's the $1 million question, right? How does this work on state land? There is called a privilege tax, and what this does is if you have a state land, and so this works for a city, this works for a university, but if there's a business use that's being done on this land for profit, then that can move it into the tax digest, so it can become taxable as if it were being taxed at a property rate. And so it transitions this project from non-taxable to taxable by creating the CRA and by generating increments. So the mechanism they've used with the public-private partnership makes it where there's a business use on this property, and it therefore enters the tax rolls as if it were being taxed at the regular property tax rate. This is how the Business Depot Ogden works. So all of the property that Ogden has and that Boyer leases for us, all of that is done through this privilege tax mechanism. And so essentially by participating in this, by allowing this project to move forward, we get that 6.6 acres and move it onto the tax rolls during that land lease. Here's a bit more of the numbers. So the $23 million total investment, there'd be 3.3 million captured by the CRA. 2.8 million would be available as an incentive for the developer. And then the estimated 99-year total impact to the county would be a little over $25 million. And that's just projected out over those 99 years. The level of participation that the county would have would be a little over 360,000. On this in terms of your 50% participation.
That's at 50% for 15 years, which is our base rate for CRA participation.
What's our cap?
We can cap this one if we want. We hadn't set a cap for this,
Okay,
but we can definitely talk about that if you wanted to cap it.
so 50% over 15
15
years.
years, yeah.
I want to see a cap.
Yeah, absolutely. We can absolutely do that.
Okay.
All right, so talking about the benefits, right? So you're creating a new tax revenue source for those 99 years. For the first 15 years, you're talking about 50% capture of the share of the privilege tax. And then for the remainder, for those other 84 years, 100% of the share for the county. Estimating $216,000 in tax generation for that first period, and then over 25 million with the remainder. If you don't participate and this project doesn't happen this way, then you would receive $0 in taxes from this area. Moving on to some of those incidental benefits is that Wildcat Square is targeting a pretty good price point per bed, much better than what you can find on the open rental market. And so you're going to see a lot of savings, especially for those students. That frees up a lot of their discretionary income to spend outside of the university, to spend in the local economy. It also will free up some of those traditional rentals as students are choosing that on-campus option. I myself was a Weber State University student, and I decided to do off-campus because that's what it was available to me and my wife at the time. So these will be able to benefit the rental market outside of the university. It'll also put some price pressure on that, try to make some of those rental units more affordable, especially when you're looking at the student-targeted housing. And then finally, it will free up some of the current Weber State University housing units that they can then transition into family housing, which is something that the university doesn't really have a good stock of, right?
Yeah, we don't have actually any current married or family housing on campus right now.
So go back one
we've had
slide.
it in the past, and this will allow us to convert a building or two, University Village back into married and family, which is in.
I see, that's how you do that.
Yeah,
So we don't participate, you get zero. Is that because it's a privilege tax? Is that?
Correct.
Is that
Yeah.
what the state
If
code
the
says?
university just bonded it and did it themselves, then it would
Well, if they
remain
bond it,
as a university use, and it would not go into the tax rolls.
I understand the bonding, but if it wasn't bonded,
correct.
why would we not receive property tax?
Well, if it was somehow like the gap was filled and they were able to get the project done, then it could get privilege tax. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking about.
So the only way it becomes zero is if they bond.
Or if the project doesn't go
Or
forward.
yeah, I mean.
If we can't figure out how to finance and make the project
Okay,
pencil. Then
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct to understand.
So I just want to make sure we understand
Yep.
that privilege tax, the county still participates in.
Yes, you'd
Yeah.
still receive privilege tax.
Yeah, okay, you understand that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to verify.
Yeah, no, thanks for that clarification.
If we owned it, it wouldn't qualify.
Okay, keep going.
So if you
Is that it?
built it and operated.
One more, the benefit to Weber State University. There's more than 100 students on the wait list for housing currently. So it's not like they're trying to create demand where none exists. There's a really long wait list. A lot of students aren't able to actually get on campus housing that even though they want it. As Mark already mentioned, there's opportunities for international as well as extra regional students, those who are not traditional commuters who are wanting to move to the area. You know, this allows them to actually move and live on campus and participate in the local economy. It creates these new amenities for students, and then you have the economic impact of these new units being generated,
Okay,
including the OGX line, dining, shopping, participation in the local economy.
okay, got it. What else?
That's it.
So if I was to call my old friend Brad Mortensen, what would he say about this?
Brad was a big proponent of this. In fact, he was,
Well, I know he was proponent for off campus. We had a lot of discussions. I didn't know he ever.
he was
in
actually
favor.
here when we did the RFP to create a partnership with Keller to.
He was?
We know we wanted to develop, absolutely. And he's the one that's been very excited about creating that environment on campus that we kind of never were able to achieve during his tenure of on-campus life, on-campus living. We have a lot of students that are living off campus in other areas, probably not the most ideal housing and not the most affordable housing. And so this is also recruitment, but also a way of engaging campus, student life on campus. So, and I hope they might go to a basketball game once in a while, fill that D event center. So.
Well, you need him at the football game too.
Yep, I wouldn't mind that as well. So.
Commissioner Harvey, questions, comments?
No, it's,
You're noodling over there.
yeah, fascinating.
Fascinating. I don't know if that's a good fascinating or bad fascinating.
I can see, we've not participated in residential before. I mean, that's just, but this is a totally different, animal. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm warm to the idea.
Warm.
Okay. I mean, it's probably the most exciting thing we've heard of today's work session, but that doesn't say much for the other ones. I don't know if you've experienced it, but the other ones haven't been all that. Sorry, Sean. I know there was some.
Don't hurt Sean's feelings.
It's all right.
John, were the other agenda items yours?
Oh,
Commissioner Ballos, questions, comments?
I don't have any, thank you.
Thank you. What's the recommendation of our very well put together finance committee?
Well, we were hesitant, like I said at first, because it's part of our policy not to do housing projects. I will say that majority of and they're not here today, unfortunately. I wish Stephanie and Linnell were here, but Linnell really likes this project and she wanted me to convey why she liked the project. She really likes the project because it's taking a piece of property that's not on the tax digest, putting it on the tax digest for 99 years. But she said, even though we traditionally don't do housing, this is more of a job creation, not just from the construction standpoint, but you're creating future jobs because you're housing students that are going to college versus if you were doing like a downtown project, just a downtown housing project. So she liked the project for those reasons. And I agree with putting it back on the tax digest. I do see this more as an economic development project more than a housing project.
Okay.
Just because we are actually partnering with the university and those students are getting degrees to go out into the workforce.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I see it, Sean. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. We did have that discussion in our committee meeting.
Okay.
And I believe our consensus was that we were in favor of this, even though we typically don't support just housing projects.
Yeah.
It kind of takes a little step beyond a housing project.
Well, and I think that's what I need to give some thought to.
Sure.
I'm not gonna set a precedence that now that the next developer comes in here and says, well, you gave these guys a CRA, you gotta give it to us.
100% our concern as well.
If I'm gonna be the bad guy, I'm gonna start now and say no again. I don't have to say.
I don't mind you starting on the next one. Come on.
I know you don't, but I do. Cause they're gonna use you guys as ammunition. Why did you prove them and not us?
Right.
Housing's housing. And, again, I think there is a distinction. And again, we've always been good partners with Weber State in the past. I would like that.
We've been great partners with Weber.
Well, that's what I thought, but I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna put words in, Some
I'll
we
echo the
disagree.
great. So,
He
yeah.
shot me down on the ice sheet before.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Fight you with that.
boy. I don't think I shot you down on anything.
Maybe we can cut a deal here.
Yeah. It comes at the low price of an ice sheet, huh?
Yeah. Well, and all you gotta do is look for funding for an ice sheet from the state versus
Yeah.
now. Anyway, we'll have that other discussion, so.
Yeah, let
I
us
feel
know.
it's not dead.
We can reconvene.
Well, I think,
Privately or.
my opinion is, I think it's worthy of consideration. I'd want to see a cap.
Sure, absolutely, we can.
Yeah,
have that.
I'd like to see a
David,
cap.
I don't mind your 50%. That's kind of what we've got set.
Yeah, that's not. pretty
And I'm
standard.
probably not uncomfortable with the 15 years.
Can you go back to that slide? First off, one more slide back. That's it. Wait, go back. No, man, you went too far.
This one here?
Well, the one with the picture with the W, that was a very beautiful picture.
Oh, picture of the W, huh?
Right. Gage, look at this picture. Isn't that a nice picture?
Snow on the ground.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, go back to the participation.
Did you like the snow or the rock?
I like
though? I can't tell.
Seen that?
I know.
That's a really nice one.
It is.
85, 95. Huh, what do you know about that? Everybody's at 15.
So I'm sure Ogden City's bought into this. Have they agreed to the 95? What about your school district?
Yeah.
So you
We
got those
presented
guys
to the
on
School
board?
district and they accepted
Yeah.
it favorably. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's no other taxing entities requesting participation from,
Are you gonna go after
Just
any other?
these three.
just these three.
Just the three?
Yeah.
That makes it easy. Okay, Commissioner Ballas, any other questions?
I don't have any.
Commissioner Harvey?
I think if you wanna get this thing if you wanna get this over the goal line today. You just put a little thing on ice. That that makes it really pretty easy.
I like where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Would you like us to reconvene and talk about a cap? There are any other considerations?
Ice cap. I'm gonna keep bringing that up.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Discussion, but I don't want to mix the streams.
No. So in theory, I'm in support. I'd want to see the definite, verify. What's the trigger date? Do we have one?
We can add that. We can talk about that too.
What's the anticipated trigger date?
Yeah,
We open for fall of 2028. Correct,
Yeah.
Phil?
so you.
You will be out of the ground and having people living in there in the fall of 2028.
Yeah. but we
Or we
have
can
to
do
do-
30-27 new trigger.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's like,
It's what I'm holding his feet to the fire is I want students in there in fall of 2028.
You know, we made money on our world curling event.
Usually do.
Just so
a
you
year
know.
or two.
Big sooner than you figure.
First time anybody's ever made money. We got a great team. We made money.
What an
A
event.
lot of money. We made money.
Only base year would be this year, which is
Fair enough.
0. Base year this year, trigger in 27.
Trigger in 26.
If you're gonna start construction next year, I would trigger.
Okay. All right, well, I think you get together with Stephanie and Sean. Let's get that cap figured out and then we can have it. How soon? I'm assuming you're looking for an answer fairly quickly.
Yeah, as soon as we can, just because they're itching to go. We just have the other processes, but right with the interlocal agreements, so we're working through the city process now.
Okay.
Getting it to our council for final approval.
All right, well, I'll try to talk Commissioner Harvey off that ice ledge we're on right
Oh.
now, but you know.
I think it's an interesting conversation to bring back to the top.
Just-
It is.
You know, it makes perfect sense though, actually, it makes great sense to do that for you guys. I think it's a great idea that would work out.
Well, and look at it this way, look, we just talked about the foosball table, the pool, all those.
Bring back.
What
an
better
ice
than
cream.
to add an ice sheet to that venue?
I will tell you.
No, everybody takes up ice skating. I don't know if you heard, but we have a new professional hockey team in the
Yeah,
state
we did.
called the Mammoth. So
Yeah.
everybody's going down there. You've got a Weber State team, right?
Yeah,
So
that ice sheet is packed all the
if I'm
time.
in your shoes,
It is.
I would write a check for that ice sheet today.
The one thing I would like, and I don't know how we would do it, but in all kidding aside, I would expect your company's participation in the Olympics. For the Olympics, that's gonna affect every institution, certainly the University of Utah. It will have a huge effect on Weber County, Ogden. All of the alpine events for the Olympics, all alpine events will be at Snow Basin. We will be using OGX significantly for the Olympics because of the tie-in with not just front runner to be able to get down to the Olympic square down there, but that's likely when Nadolski and I have been talking where there'll be the transfer station. So I realize you're right there, but you'd probably take everybody down to the intermodal hub to get up to Snow Basin. If you'd have had to be here during 2002 to understand what that kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But but all the housing, they're gonna do, and Weber State played a significant role in housing in 2002, so 2034, it would be significant, and this would be a big piece that would have to be, and everything's gonna be disrupted, the quarter, the semester, it'll all be disrupted during the Olympics, but this would be some kind of.
We've already made those overtures with Brad Wilson saying, hey, we're willing to participate and open our doors,
Good.
open our facilities, open our housing for that kind of thing. If for no other reason than to draw them here, we want to make sure that we're as open arms as we can.
Absolutely.
Oh, we don't want to see that, the opportunities, everybody come down 89 and turn up 84 and bypass Ogden. We want to make sure they're here and they stay here.
Wonderful.
You might get some future students.
Yeah.
Oh, that, most definitely. And with that, the whole big picture of that, if you take that on, to be able to say that, look, you can even use this for a future type of be able to ski, so, it could be really big.
You thinking about a gondola?
We don't say those words in open meetings, do we?
I just
I
asked.
sure do.
I do
Tell
too.
Jenny Wilson.
I do
and,
too.
Those folks in Salt Lake, we're happy to take that gondola in Salt Lake right up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I told Carl that.
I think you've got you'd have the boats here for that.
Do you? Is that an honest sentiment? Because I mean, I think we've been very cautious, at least the new generation of Weber, of saying gondola again, but I think we're in that state. It would be transformative.
Well,
worry you.
To me, we missed the boat whenever that was,
Yeah.
when Godfrey was in office.
Yep.
That would have been a game changer for Weber State from day one.
Oh,
And it would have been a game changer for Ogden City.
there's no higher education system that has access like that to a ski
I
resort.
mean, so many opportunities.
Correct.
You're gonna have to take a little heat in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
I think we're willing to do that. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, you're out. We're going for gondola now.
Just put in a footing right there for a
Do the due diligence.
tower.
Yeah.
I'd hope you'd continue that conversation.
I'd love to have that conversation. I've wheedled it into the Wasatch Front Regional Council Master Plan.
Yeah.
If you look at it close, it's there.
Yeah.
So
It says priority phasing.
I don't know, but it's at the bottom of the list.
Before we get in there on this setting, if you'll send that to me,
Mhm.
I sit on that executive board and I would love to very much know where that chapter and verse is.
Gage and I'll take that to the legislature this year if you want.
It's awesome. One thing that I think really hurt us was the $1 billion price tag associated with the gondola in up the canyons.
Yeah, Cottonwood.
And it just, everybody thinks that's what we're proposing. It's like, that's not,
No.
we don't need to do that.
Such a home run.
So,
Well,
and I think the
nice.
mayor's still sold on the vertiport, so I'm not quite sure, not sure how real that is.
You do both.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why couldn't you do both?
I should do both.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
It's-
it's definitely not a one or
The
the other.
vertiport's like,
Yeah,
8 people at a time, the
Exactly.
gondola could do.
Yeah, you're talking.
Two different markets.
whole different markets.
Yeah, it's a different, it's
Yeah,
totally
higher
different.
price tag too.
No. Both are needed. All right.
Well, thank you.
I think we're headed down the right path.
Appreciate your time, guys.
You'll just
Thanks.
wait till after the election. That'll be-
Appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Just see you, friend. Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh, Huh, what do you know about that?
Commissioner Harvey, do you want to restate your motion?
I'd like a motion that we leave our work session to go into a administrative meeting.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sharon, you okay with that? We're now in an administrative meeting. And we have with us Mr. Chris Allred and the famous ambassador to good. Okay, we're back in our work session. Just waiting, Sharon, I'm gonna put you. All right, we're back in work session. Thank you for being patient with us. It's the 2:45 discussion regarding proposed changes to the ordinance regarding code enforcement, specifically watercraft storage in Ogden Canyon. We can't run boats down the river. Right now we can, there's a little water, but it won't be there long. Tammy, where's Tammy?
I'm gonna handle this one, Commissioner.
Okay,
That's
so Tammy's not here, Rick Grover's here, Warren Thomas here, and a few other people, so go ahead.
So this is looking at how we address the storage of boats and things like that on a person's property.
I think I know what started this.
Yes, and having the teeth to enforce.
Thank you.
These types of things. And Lauren has put this together and we would like to bring this before you, but it's almost ready, but we're wondering a couple things. Timing of it, there's a lot of other code enforcement things that we'd like to bring to you at the same time, but we could bring this one to you right now. It's just if you feel this is urgent enough to do that, or if you want to wait till the first of the year so we can work on other things. I probably won't get into the specifics on that, but I just want to get your feel, if you feel this is really urgent to do right now, or if you want to wait until the first of the year when we can address a few other things with this. But this would allow us to have more teeth to enforce a certain issue with code enforcement that we've had in a section of the county.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my version of this. Since he's kind of taken, we know the particular case we're talking about. This particular individual communicates with me about once a week or so. And according to what I receive, and I haven't verified it, is he's moving about one of those vehicles per week or thereabouts. We know that the boat, I'm assuming this goes back to our particular case.
Yes.
So I would like to allow him to continue if he's continuing that, which he basically wasn't doing before. But maybe we could ask code enforcement to go up and see if I think I've received emails, he's waiting for one title, but he's removed like 2 or 3 vehicles. So he's trying to comply, at least from the communication I've had. I'd like to verify that, trust but verify.
Yeah.
But if he continues to do that, I would prefer that we allow him to do that rather than go back to court.
Okay.
And I think if I told him we're looking at creating an ordinance on the boat, that he would probably move that. Now, again, that'd be my suggestion, rather than maybe we can do it with a little honey versus the stick, but right now he seems to be cooperating.
I can check into that.
But if
too
you-
and find out.
If you check and let me know, now, if he is not being honest with me, then by all means, we probably need to pull out the stick, but.
Okay.
But I don't see any reason on just this one particular case with the watercraft, if we've got other code enforcement things that need to be drafted, to me, it makes more sense to combine them.
Okay.
Commissioner Harvey.
I feel a little differently, respectfully, a little, I'm not related to such individual. I don't know if you are.
Actually,
Some kind of hillbilly relative. We've been 9 years.
Yeah.
Years. And so I'd like to take a step approach and just keep going. I wish that I could say that I had a little more trust.
Yep.
But after 9 years of him being able to angle different things and I'd really like to just keep, because pretty soon it's gonna say, well, it's snowing. Now I can't get anything out of the way and
Yeah, that's true.
it's gonna be something else and
Yeah.
But the boat ordinance or the boat code change doesn't require us to give up on the other.
No.
So
not at all.
we're not giving up on the vehicles.
Right,
All it is that one boat.
Yeah.
yes.
That doesn't, that's,
Yeah, the
all-
code doesn't contemplate vessels is what we'll call them
Right.
in the code right now, so it just adds vessels.
so I guess what I'm saying, we could continue to apply pressure on the cars
Yes.
without doing the boat ordinance.
Yeah.
So,
I respect that. I'd still like to, anything we can do to get to solve the problem once and for all would be something that I'm interested in. That's where I'm.
I'm gonna call you Hard Eddie, but that's okay.
This Edwin would be
Edwin.
preferred.
Well, I think we can
So
get it through.
What do you wanna do? I mean,
Just with staff time and everything, I would prefer to wait till the start of the year, but we can make it happen. We can make this happen right now.
on the boats,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Well, I just as soon apply the pressure on the cars. If, if it's a time factor, let's go after the big fish rather than the little fish. But, I mean, if you think that, is that boat a major hangup for you?
It's just all the real estate up there that's being taken by anything that has a metal and rubber tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't, a boat can take up as much place as a Suburban or a truck and a camper.
Probably at least that. So what's our last communication with him legally?
We haven't got to fines yet. That's the next step.
Okay,
So,
but we can impose it. Do we have to do this before we can impose
No,
fines?
the ordinance allows fines now.
yeah, we can do fines.
So,
He just has been making progress, and so whenever.
So he says, right?
Well, Alan has verified that, but I don't know if it's as fast as what Commissioner Froer, what you're
well,
saying.
yeah, and I'd like to verify
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and
I would
so,
too.
so that's when we start to see progress being made, we usually back off
Yeah.
on fining because they're working with us, but he goes back and forth, and then all of a sudden in the springtime, we have a bunch more there, and then we have to start the process again, and so it's,
But we're not gonna do that, at least my opinion.
yeah,
So what I'd like to do is verify if he's made progress like he's told me, which is supposedly 3 to maybe 4 of the vehicles.
okay,
Weekly?
No, 3 to 4 over the last 4 weeks. And find out where he is.
okay,
And then maybe what we do is give him a deadline on, which again, may or may not do it, but I think we just say, look, here's the drop dead date on fines.
okay.
Can we impose fines right now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can, because we went through all the noticing period.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we're at that stage where we could.
Okay, so what's the process we need to do that?
It would just be a letter and it would start that fine process. and that could be done immediately.
Can we give him a 10-day notice or 7, what's our attorneys go? No, I mean, attorney.
I'm right here.
Oh. Sorry about that. I was looking for Crockett over there. So what's our time frame on that? Sorry, Lauren.
If the noticing period has already happened, it can be immediate, but you could give a 10-day until fine. I mean, you could do that again, yeah.
And what do those fines amount to?
I'd have to go back and look at those. I
I
can't tell you
believe
exactly.
it can be $100 a day
Per,
per day.
per vehicle.
Per violation, per violation.
So if he's got 5 cars, it could
I'd
be,
have to look at it because they would violate the junk ordinance probably. So whether or not that could count as 5 or 1, I'd have to look at it specifically. But $100 a day, I believe is what it says.
Okay. And did we get the,
I'm sorry you're so chummy with him, but
he.
no good deed goes unpunished.
No, I don't disagree with that. So did we get the title, the title issue squared away though, as far as title of the property, because that was,
The title.
I don't wanna,
it-
so I don't wanna go through all this and find out that we've got a legal glitch.
Yeah, it belongs to a trust, but our ordinance allows us to fine either the trust, the owner of the trust, or whoever is on the property, like who occupies the property. So I believe we've satisfied that.
So you think we're okay there?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay, what do you wanna do, Commissioner Harvey? I know this is,
I'm a hard Eddie here, Commissioner. I'm you bleeding hearts.
well, I'm a little soft,
You are very, very kind.
yeah.
You're a kind man.
Well, when somebody, I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. If they're gonna perform, then let them perform. But I understand that 9 years is a long time to perform.
Yeah, he's had lots and lots of time and he's been able to find the little. And he's also, though, my other problem is he's not been forthright. He's not been truthful.
Oh, I don't disagree with
And
that.
so.
Okay. So Commissioner Bolos, what would you like to do?
Well, first of all, you two are obviously a lot more familiar than I am with this situation because I don't even know who you're talking about. But that being said, it sounds like it's been a long time of non-compliance and I'm comfortable moving forward with whatever measures are necessary. So
Okay.
I guess I'm on Team Harvey on this.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, that pushes you a little quick to.
Nope, we can make it happen.
So you wanna do the boat ordinance now? Or wait?
That's what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to do whatever we can to accelerate his intentions.
Okay. We can do that.
So do we need the boat ordinance put in before we can start the fines? That's the
For the
question.
boat, I would say yes.
We need that?
Yes, at least as to the boat, right? So you almost have 2 separate issues at this point. You have the vehicles that
Right.
have already been noticed, but the boat now needs notice and has to go through that period of, I believe it's 30 days is the first.
But we could
step.
still start fines for the vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah, we can start that.
Okay,
Yeah, so they'll just be kind of 2 separate issues.
okay,
And as far as the ordinance goes, we do need to take it to the planning commission because it's part of the land use code.
okay,
And then we'll get it to you.
all right.
So that's gonna be a while, so I'd just as soon give him 10, maybe you got till September 15th. This is your drop dead day
For the vehicles.
for the vehicles, and you need to know that the boat ordinance is coming very quickly. And when it starts, we're not gonna give you any 9-year grace period. It'll be immediate.
Okay. All right, I think
Edwin.
yeah, harder. So I think we give them notice on the vehicles, give him till September 15th. That happens to be a date in my heart that I'll remember. And if he calls me, I'll just say, look, don't talk to me about 9:15. Just get it done.
Okay.
And the fines start then, and then, yeah, I agree, if we wanna put a little paragraph to it that, oh, by the way, you might wanna move the boat because that's coming down the path as well. That'd be well advised.
And what can you bring me for my birthday?
Yeah. Yeah, I just say, look, and feel free to say, look, this is a birthday present from Commissioner Fuller. You got till 9:15.
They wanted to make it by the end of August. I bought you another 2 weeks, you're welcome. But you better be calling some tow companies and some friends to get some help, because the party's over.
I happen to know a tow company,
Yes, you do.
so.
Commissioners,
But-
if we can get the ordinance on planning commission agenda for November, December, is that too late for you guys?
Soon as you can get it, from what I hear from Edwin over here.
I don't mean to push it out too far. I just know we've got some pretty busy. agendas.
Whenever you can do it.
Are these vehicles inoperable?
I would say a good share of them.
Cause there's a code provision too, I guess, if the fines don't work, where we can just go and abate. They get an order to abate, have the vehicles removed and then recoup our costs.
Yes.
So I guess that'd be a plan B.
Yeah, well, I guess that's my question.
They're all worth a lot of money. I mean, there's a 1974 Pinto.
Pinto, yeah.
They've got a,
It's a gas tank in the back that explodes.
yeah.
Can we legally tow? I'd almost rather tow them.
We have to get an order from the court. But
Okay.
our ordinance does allow us to go to the court and ask for an abatement. You do have to go through they've been noticed. They've been fined. We have more teeth in the game if we find them, but.
Oh, we do that.
To me, the answer is probably towing rather than the fine, because number one, I don't think he has any money.
What did we do with the property with the house that was falling in the river? Didn't we do an abatement proceeding with
We
that
did.
one?
Yes,
Ogden
you
Canyon.
did.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was just a few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bob, I can't remember his name, but Matt Wilson did that one.
Mhm.
And there's a specific code under the land use code that allows us to abate and recoup our costs.
Mhm.
It's in our ordinance too. It is, yeah.
So maybe if you prefer that, we could look at that instead of fines, because do we have?
Well, I just wonder, to me, to give him additional fines is great, but he doesn't have he goes to court and he's say, look, I don't have any funds. I'm, living in for $200 a month, Social Security, whatever it is. I think the only thing that's gonna get his attention is if we tow him. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
If it hadn't been 9 years,
yeah.
I mean, if it had been not even 9 months, but this is on and on and on for me.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes us look stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have neighbors complaining about it?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my suggestion is we're gonna really cure it. Only way to cure it is have us remove them. Not him. And maybe we do that in the letter and say, look, you're either gonna have fines or we have the option to have them towed. And then.
You got till the 15th of September, and whatever's left, we're gonna come and tow. And you'll have to pay those with whatever our expenses are. How's that? That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay.
If we could do that.
Yeah.
And then, you sure you don't wanna take that boat? We're running out of water at the dam, so it's, you're
I
running
got
out
no
of time.
desire for
You're running out of boat time. Okay, does that answer your
It
question?
does. Thank
Yeah.
you, commissioners.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Thomas.
Appreciate you being with us. All right, like everybody else is staying, right? So this is our 3 PM closed session to discuss the purchase, exchange, real estate or exchange or lease of real property. Charlie Ewert, you're there, Sean Wilkinson.